Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of A Bigger Bite. Once again, we are here to break down the best and greatest. Okay, maybe not. That's not entirely true. But we're here to break down our full, in-depth thoughts on the latest movies and television. Once again, I am joined by Amarú Moses right here, Bitesize founder Nick, and hopefully with some new Ethernet magic.
I'm good this time. God damn it.
But no, we're here to talk to you guys about the latest Marvel film, Thunderbolts. Or is it Thunderbolts?
I'm gonna do that every time.
All right, well, listen. If you're clicking on this, you already know it's a spoiler title, so I'm calling it by its real title. It's the new Avengers. Like I called this shit a while ago. Props to our man Jay Washington, because Jay was the one who made me hip to this about 6 months ago. Where Jay's like, it's between two titles of either the Dark Avengers or the New Avengers, and they're leaning towards the New Avengers because people won't know the fuck the Dark Avengers are, and Dark would make you assume they're bad guys. So, New Avengers, great title. I had fun with this. This movie, in my opinion, I take Guardians and No Way Home out of the equation. I would put this among the best post-Endgame MCU stuff because it's a lot of these original, or not original, but a lot of these newer characters that we've been introduced to over other films or TV shows, putting them together and actually making them relatable and likable, and making them actually matter, and hopefully giving hope to the MCU going forward. So
I'd put that comment with an asterisk itself.
I know. Hey, I said no. That's what I said. Hopefully.
No, I have my own reason. My own reason.
But yeah, let's get into this. Let's start with Shak, since he opened it up. Shak, what were your thoughts on the film?
My main feeling was that it's fine, just fine. I do agree to an extent that that some of these characters that we've been introduced, not that much as supporting characters, do get a lot more time to shine. Mainly Yelena, as she's the main character of this. Florence Pugh is fucking incredible in this, and
When is she not though?
Pardon?
When is she not though?
Exactly. So yeah, that's a given. She's great. I think Bob is great. Louis Pullman did a great job, and I like the dynamic that they have. But I don't think everybody gets real time in the sun as you would think. So like Yelena, Bob, even Alex, like Red Guardian, and fucking
MAGA America,
John Walker. I think they all get pretty decent. Like Ghost, who a character I think is pretty interesting, at least considering she's probably the most super powered out of all of them, gets nothing really. And that's not even. I'm not even talking about Taskmaster. That's the whole thing in itself. But
we all knew about Taskmaster. Let's try to just brush over that.
Yeah, let's just whatever. But Ghost is a character that I feel you could do a lot with her, but they did nothing with her.
Hey, she got so much more than she had in Ant-Man and the Wasp, though.
Yeah, but that's still much of nothing is still pretty nothing.
I try to look for the positives in this.
I know. It's getting all the glowing reviews, and I understand it, and I get it, because especially with the stuff that he talks about that I know we're gonna get into more. But outside of that, the when it leaned back into the MCU-ness of it all, it still bothered the fuck out of me.
Specifically Ghost or something else?
Ghost and that was Ghost, and even John Walker was a lot more limited, but I understand that we got a lot of him in Falcon and Winter Soldier, but I kind of wish we delved into him more as opposed to being the funny punching bag, which I did but there wasn't that much of him outside of that.
I will no longer call him John Walker. I'm taking Jay Washington's term and calling him MAGA America.
Here's what I'll say. I got out of the movie an hour ago. I really loved watching it, and I really liked the movie. I actually went away thinking not the same as you, Shak. I thought they utilized everybody to their maximum ability based on what it was, because it's an ensemble pick. Yelena, Florence Pugh was getting everything.
Oh yeah, that's no problem with that. Yeah.
And Alexi's going behind with Bucky right there. Bucky being the most established, he is there. Bucky and Sebastian Stan are the ultimate support character that feels fleshed out, but not the main not the main reason you're there. And he does great in this, like he always does. Louis Pullman was a surprise. The entire time I was thinking about Steven Yeun because I was like, would he do as well as Louis Pullman is doing right now? And I think he will. I think he would have. But having to deal with a replacement, I was like, y'all picked an amazing replacement. I was so surprised at how well their chemistry, him and Florence Pugh was, and how much I loved him as Bob, as Sentry. And I'll say this, outside of Justice for Taskmaster, because I mean Olga Kurylenko just can't not catch a break. They were cleaning slate like Allegra was cleaning slate with Taskmaster.
Bro.
That was like one of the final things. They were like, we need to get rid of this post Endgame stench and Taskmaster. You gotta go. And I was like, that's that quickly. Damn, I thought she would get more than one scene. I know they superimposed her into shit, but I thought there was going to be a little bit more than just that.
You know,
they gave her a line, though. They gave her a line.
To be fair, you're the only person who thought that. All of us were like, she ain't making out of there.
Oh, what killed me was that, like, after I saw the movie, I went back and watched, like, the first trailer and how they crowbarred her in the shot of them staring at Sentry. And I'm like, you dirty motherfuckers.
It so rude.
You gonna do this.
It's so rude. It's so rude. But in terms of, like, Ghost, like, it's knowing it's an ensemble, knowing who your top billed people are, I thought that Hannah John Kamen was going to get close to nothing. You might have felt like it was nothing. I felt like relatively, they gave her some of the most she's ever done as Ghost. And I'm going to pull back into this like argument where she gets a lot more of the facial acting, the little bits and pieces there that build her character more than just talking and delving into it. I really like what they gave her. You can always give her more, 100%. But when you got an ensemble like this, I was very satisfied with how all of the actual Thunderbolts, because I'm going to keep calling them the Thunderbolts because I like that name, how all of the actual Thunderbolts, the time they were given, I really loved hers. I really loved the amount of backstory they gave into John Walker and his family. And then the rest of them was, it was their movie. I have one person who I don't like in this film, but I've always not liked her, even though it's the best version of her. And Julia Louis-Dreyfus, I don't think she should be this character, but at least it's the best version of this character. And the way her character was written into the script makes it make sense. I just don't like her as an actress. But outside of that, I really
whoa.
As an actress in this film.
Okay. You just said as an actress.
As an actress in the movie. In this character, in every movie she's been in. It's this character, to be clear.
Okay. Thank you for clearing yourself up. Because,
man,
everyone just looked at you like you were fucking crazy.
Here's the deal.
I don't even like Seinfeld, and I was offended. I was like, all right. Like...
They should have picked somebody like Sandra Bullock, or maybe even Demi Moore to do this character, and she would have been, or Minnie Driver, and that the portrayal I feel would have been a hell of a lot better than what Julie Dreyfus done
with the character. This is how she's
the character. The character is fine. She's too fucking ham-fisted.
I
disagree.
I don't like her at all in this role. She is the main part of Wakanda Forever. I'm like, get her the fuck off the screen.
Legit.
But I'll come back to it. There's one scene where all I could think of was Iron Man 2. After that, I'll let you go.
Amaru.
I disagree.
Well, no. Nick, what were your thoughts on the film?
Yeah, Rue, I'm with you on JLD. I don't like her in this. It's funny when I watch this because I know how adamantly you dislike her. As I was watching it, I was like, oh, there's a lot of her in this. Rue's not going to like that very much. Yeah, I would love to have casted someone different in this role. The movie itself, I think, is really good. I was surprised by it. I don't have the issues with what they did with Taskmaster because I think the reason it works as well as it does is you cut down the number of people that are in.
Mm-hmm.
And I think if you added another one, you would be kind of bloating it a little bit. And when you look at someone like Ghost, like, does she get any less than someone like Hawkeye does in the original Avengers movie? Like, someone is going to end up getting the least amount of...
So, Nick, what you just said was actually going to be my point for Taskmaster, because essentially you just get quick cutaways of Hawkeye in that first Avengers movie. And what's the assistant I know her name
Geraldine Viswanathan.
Thank you.
Mhm.
She takes that
As
place instead. You know what I mean? Like, so instead of getting Taskmaster cutaways, because that character is important to the plot, we're getting cutaways of her instead of like she's filling that Hawkeye void because you still have this team that you have to deal with. So like I'm like, it made sense that one character, considering how many you have to focus on, is getting off, and it was her. It just made. She was also, unfortunately, the least liked member of all those new characters introduced, just based off general reaction. Upgraded her suit for no reason, just to look cool. For
that new suit is garbage. Her old one was so much cooler.
I'm not disagreeing. I'm just saying, like, they upgraded for no reason. If you're just gonna offer like that, you should have just fucking kept her. Like, you know what I mean? Like, but no. Continue next. Sorry, I just wanted to throw in that.
No, for sure. But I think it did what it needed to do. Where Captain America Brave New World took the characters from Incredible Hulk and really added nothing to them except for bringing them back. This took the characters from Black Widow that I didn't really care about and enhanced them and made them more interesting. Like, Black Widow's never been a film I've been a big fan of. I really like Yelena, but I like her better in Hawkeye than I do in Black Widow. And I like her more than both of those here. I like Red Guardian and Alexei way more in this movie than I did in Black Widow, where I found him kind of annoying and almost grating at times. So I think they did everything that they could have with what they had here to make it better. When I go back and I rank my MCU movies, it's probably going to be upper middle, which is not what I would have thought going into it. And I think Stephen Young would have been great, but I think Lewis Pullman, who can't escape characters named Bob, I think did really good in this movie. And he's one of the people, the idea of him having this kind of Bruce Banner underlying problem
Anger,
that he can't bring
whatever.
out going forward and having to withhold it, I think is a really interesting plot point for him. So I liked it a lot. It's one of the MCU films I've been more interested in than definitely some of the more recent offerings.
Yes, Nick, I agree with a lot of what you had to say. Like I said, it's the Taskmaster of it all. It didn't bug me. I know it bugged Shaq.
It's not that it bugged me because I like Taskmaster as a character from the comics and other media. But
look at it this way. It now gives them a chance to redo the character, especially with this reset that we're potentially going into.
Yeah.
So,
I don't have that much of an issue with that.
It's their way of cleaning the slate ahead of time.
Taskmaster, I'm not going to cry for Taskmaster because, again, that character, like that version of the character was terrible in Black Widow. And yeah, just get rid of it. Like, legit, I think it was talking to Nick and someone else, another friend, before the screening. I'm like, how quickly is she going to get gone? I think I said, like, no more than 15 minutes. And I think it might have been 10 minutes. I might be wrong.
She's in there for 5, homie.
It might have been 5.
No, I mean, like, how many minutes into the movie does she get
okay.
gone?
Well, then, yes.
15,
her screen time is like less than 5 minutes.
Which is hilarious because, again, she got more lines in this movie than she's gotten in anything else. Which is, when she talked, I was like, oh shit.
Oh, yeah.
She got words.
Olga Kurylenko, the one blonde
sentence.
girl whose career has gone downhill since James Bond.
Yeah. I'm gonna stick on this just because I can't let it go. The last thing I'm gonna say about the one thing again, best version of Allegra I've seen. And I'll give her her flashback scene. I was like, why can't we get this version of her? That's the best performance in that flashback scene that JLD has had as Allegra in the entirety of the MCU. But I could not help in her opening scene when she was had that deposition for the impeachment. I cannot help but think of y'all are doing a failed version of Tony's deposition in Iron Man 2. That is all I could think of the entire time. And the way that Robert Downey Jr. can actually hold that whole setting and JLD is just failing. That basically sums up how much I just don't like her.
To be fair, she's also going up against like Wendell Pierce.
Right.
And so as soon as you see Wendell Pierce, I'm like, yo, my man from The Wire, I don't care what she has to say. That's my man's right there.
Yes. My brain has been blanking. Who's he playing in the new Superman? The fuck,
He's
not
Perry White.
Perry White.
Perry White.
Oh,
Thank you. I was gonna call him Jack Perry.
Don't forget Suits. Come on now.
I never
Jungle
watched
Jack Perry mentioned.
but anyway, but I will go back to the positive. It is the best portrayal of this character I've seen, and I really liked the character. The way they utilized the character in the script allowed for the plot points and all the character work to really bring the emotional resonance I did not expect to have. The whole delving into mental illness and PTSD and your dark side was a really, really big plus that I think her being the through point to push that forward, it makes sense. So I dealt with it, and I enjoyed the film a lot.
All right.
And I liked everything they set up with Geraldine. I thought Geraldine was great in this.
Yeah.
Like I'm a big fan of her in general.
Solid.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of her in general, but I think they've given her like a pretty interesting potential character arc going forward in the MCU with this kind of tease of who is she going to side with.
But here's the thing: that entire thing. No, there's no side with. She made her choice. That was the whole thing about her setting off the because she's like, I'm getting a raise on top of it. Like I've seen the movie twice. She made her choice because Allegra's whole line about she's having issues deciding who she wants to side with, and then that moment is her deciding. Ultimately,
I think she
Allegra
made her
means
choice.
nothing. Allegra also means nothing now because the new Avengers owner.
I think she made her choice in that moment. And I think how it ended and what Allegra's affiliation with the New Avengers is where I see the pathway for Geraldine's character. I forget what her name is, unfortunately.
There's also...
See, we can't get into this quite yet because we'll end with that part of the discussion because we have to talk about that post-credit scene.
Yes.
Not talking about
I will say, there's no way that you bringing up like she made her choice and like the New Avengers owner, there's no way it's sticking to that. Allegra is going to try to find some way to clear out.
No, wait, be patient. Just be patient. Wait, we'll get to it.
All I'm saying is that what I think. I don't know what's going to happen at all. It's not sticking that way. That's why we'll talk about it. So yeah, whatever. I like Mel. I do like Geraldine. I think she has the capabilities of going too far sometimes, but also finding a pocket, and she found that pocket.
Mm-hmm.
That great pocket of comedy that works well.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I'll say because I know we're like before we move on that like I never saw my point about Val. I agree, Rude, that like this is the best version of the character, but I still don't like that character like at all. I think she's just like Julie Louis-Dreyfus. Love her, but there's nothing that's made this character interesting to me as opposed to like, oh, you're more ethically ambiguous, or no, not ambiguous. You're more ethically dubious, Nick Fury. And that's how she's positioned herself in this thing, and I'm like, I don't give a fuck. But that's just how I felt about it. But yeah,
Remind me again because you just saw it, and I don't want to step on Matt's toes. How does the movie end before we go into the first post credit? Because I know they happen very quickly.
Literally, we own your ass now, and then close up on.
So that all is in the film, right?
Yeah,
that
is all
not
in
a
the
post
film,
credit.
yes.
Okay.
No.
That's what I thought. Okay.
Oh
cool.
yeah.
So let's talk about Bob some more because that, my God, was one of the most just feeling seen, for lack of a better terms, stories with the MCU. That the feeling of being alone and being stuck in this void, ergo the character void. Just having that darkness just sit with you and feel like you might not be good enough for anyone, and just it was a lot, but it felt so relatable. It felt so damn relatable. What were your guys' thoughts on this?
So I didn't watch. I had only seen the trailer where they're driving and then Sebastian Stan shows up. Mm-hmm. So when I saw this movie for the first time, that was the first time I saw the visualization of Sentry dusting people, for lack of a better term. Mm-hmm. And I thought that was so cool. I realized after when I posted the review that was in the trailer, but that I got to see that brand new. That's one of my favorite visual things that the MCU has done in a long time. I think it does a great job of describing loneliness and like feeling so isolated. And the idea of him, again, I just could call it dusting people because I don't, sending them to the void. That it's not as malicious as it comes across. That there's almost a sense of like trauma, dealing with your trauma instead of just running
Pushing it
away
out.
from it, but not like sending them to hell, like that kind of, not putting them in that evil spot. It's more like, no, I send you here to deal with your trauma. And it's not necessarily this horrifically villainous thing. It's someone who doesn't quite understand how they're dealing with their own trauma. And I thought that was a really interesting way to go about the character.
No, that's
Sentry was somebody I was a little worried about going in, how they would handle him both ways, because he's like he's fucking Superman in here. And I was like, okay, the thing with the chairs kind of like spoiled who's making, who's not. It confirmed the Taskmaster was fucking done.
Yeah.
And it confirmed he was moving forward. So a couple things I was wondering was like, one, how are they going to make him an antagonist but keep him a protagonist? How are they going to, and this goes with any comic book, movie, or series, how do you depower or give stakes to basically somebody who's purposely invincible? I'll give you this. Superman is one of my least favorite people to watch sometimes, even though I like it, because you can't do shit to him. There's no stakes sometimes. And you feel that you got to find a way to like really make you care about this guy who's never going to die. And they handled both. Delving into that allowed he was also the through point to allow all the Thunderbolts to get into their best bits as well, dealing with the trauma, dealing with the PTSD. I like that. And then him having the memory flashes and I guess that's the post-credit scene, and we'll talk about that later. But him having all of that, I really enjoyed how they made him an antagonist, but also you understand how you can keep moving forward with him in a very impactful, very emotional, very thought out way. That was, again, the surprise of it. And I really enjoyed how they brought him in.
And Nick, I know you said Dustin. I'm calling it sending people to the Shadow Realm. Like,
yes,
that's what it is. And like, yeah, I think he's great. And I will admit, as horrifying as it is, I also kind of laughed when the first person, that little girl, so she got control deleted. Because the thing is, it was so sudden. It was like boom.
But that was the point.
The
only reaction was, "What the fuck?"
I knew it was coming. I 100%. As soon as he saved her while he was talking, while Alexi was talking to her, I was like, "Oh, she about to go."
Yeah,
she was going
like,
yep.
the camera's lingering a little too long on it. But yeah, no, I think he's great. Even beforehand, like they found the way to kind of make that like kind of meek, like I don't know what's going on, aw shucks kind of guy. He found a way to make it work, and like I've always found Louis Pillman pretty underrated. Even movies I don't like for like Bad Times at the El Royale, I think he's great, even though I don't like that movie. But here he really tapped into some shit that I'm like, oh fuck, this is very relatable. Like I was saying, it's very relatable to like my own personal struggles and just how you feel closed off from everyone and you don't really know how to handle shit. It's like, man, this is real. And the void, like, even though it is like the requisite like CGI filled third act, it's
done in a way that at the same time.
But that's the thing. The fact that they managed to maintain the thorough line of like mental health and stuff, even with all this shit going on, I'm like, okay, that's very impressive to me.
The only reason I would argue that it's not the CGI filter, because it's outside of the dusting of people and the darkness engulfing the city.
It's the most CGI'd effect of the movie. Yes. Like again, that's not a problem.
Yeah, it's very small in regards to giant third acts that we're used to from the MCU. And that's something I actually really loved about that. Because it still put more of the focus on the film and the story itself rather than let's just watch a million CGI things get thrown in our face and blow up. And it was like,
I'm gonna go ahead and plug Adriano, the recent article he posted on how to save the MCU. I didn't roll my eyes at it. He actually brought up the point of one of the things that can be better is let's not do the regular third act, punch him, season finale, punch him. There was punching, there was action, but it wasn't the
nonstop.
let's fight the same guy,
yeah.
even though we did fight the same guy. But it meant more. It was unique. And I also want to go into how I think I've never heard of this guy. Jack Schreier did a fucking fantastic job directing this film, putting everything together, balancing it. No, I don't know who that guy is. I suck with directors.
I think he do Beef.
Yes, he did Beef.
Yeah,
Stephen Young.
Stephen Young. Yeah, Stephen Young.
There we go.
He did Paper Towns.
Oh, I saw Paper Towns. He knows how to.
There we go. Crew.
He knows how to deal with trauma. He knows how to deal with your emotions, and he really put that forward. He also was able, again, to tone down Red Guardian to be like a great point where he's the comedic relief up until the point of annoyance, but doesn't go overboard with it. I like he brought a uniqueness. And I feel like if he can do this, I'm like, dude, he's somebody down the line. You put his name on another team up or Avengers film, I'm like, yeah. If this is the start and he can keep going with it, I love what he put together for that. So for sure.
All right. Well, I mean, we've talked about. Let's be honest. This is primarily a character-driven film. The moments of trauma that we get, the one that hit the home the most, because we never got to see what Alexi's was or what Hannah John Kamen's were. So I think we only get to see
3. We see Yelena's, we see John Walker's, and we see Valentina's.
Yeah.
So, okay.
And technically 4 because we also see Bob's.
Yeah.
But I was thinking about the main team. But yeah, so we only get 2.
And that's partially why I feel like, why Ghost didn't get anything, because we didn't get that.
To be fair, we've already seen her trauma.
That's what I mean. Like, we've seen it, but also we still delved into John. But I get it that, like, obviously there's stuff that happens in between.
Yes, and that was covering what happened in between. Because like you thought it would have gone to when his buddy died and he ended up becoming a murderer.
Like, no, it's when he was a dickhead to his kid,
which caused the Black to leave his ass. Like. So I'm like, wow. I guess that's relatable to a lot of dickhead fathers probably taking to see their sons or their sisters. But let's dive into that post-credit scene, because I think we've covered a lot of what this movie is.
One thing I do want to say, because we've gone over her, she's the main part of it. Any other things about Florence Pugh? Because I think my favorite scene of that my favorite scene of that movie, my favorite scene of the movie is the conversation that is actually like New York, people walking by, looking at people in costumes, having a conversation and not giving a fuck. That felt so real. The 2 of them talking to each other and Yelena like pouring her heart out and Alexi feeling like a character. That was 100% my favorite.
If I hadn't seen it in the trailer, it probably would have hit for me.
No, what I'll say to that is I wrote this in my review when I wrote it, was that, like, it's amazing how much filming on a real ass set with real extras makes a movie feel more like a standard scene of dialogue feel way more alive than if they did this on the fucking blue screens that they've been normally filming on. Just having a bustling city is like, okay, this feels like an actual world right now.
Yeah, New York City don't give a fuck about you, and they're just gonna keep walking by you, and it was great to see.
Yeah, no. Let's get into the post credits. And this is why I'm pushing back on your it's interesting where they can go up there. This whole universe is about to be reset, and I don't think it's gonna mean jack shit going forward because of it.
That's the other thing I wrote in my review. I'm like, this is a step in the right direction, but Doomsday's on the way, so they really aren't gonna stick to it.
All I know is when I saw the ship, I knew who the ship was. I knew it was a Fantastic Four. I didn't think about Doomsday. I thought about Fantastic Four. Their world is fucking done.
We just saw the ending of the Fantastic Four. We just saw the ending of the Fantastic Four.
Galactus is about to whoop their ass, and I cannot wait to see it. And I was like, "There's no, they are doomed. No pun intended. They are fucking doomed, and I can't wait to see it." That's what I thought about that. But there's still plenty of movies, or at least plenty of places to go. What I was saying is that there's no way they're leaving Allegra as the patsy. There's no way that they're just cutting Mel's character off about her choices. She's still going to go there. And even if they reset, they got to reset back to those people. So like,
No, they don't.
No,
they do not.
Well, they should. That's what I'm saying.
Because you have to remember, they have straight up said, when people die in this film, this is it. We come to the commitment.
Like, I'll say I don't buy that.
I do.
Listen, Nick brought up a very good when we were seeing it. Nick brought up a question that had me fucked up for hours.
Yep.
Shaq. The reason I do believe it is because this is about to reset what the sacred timeline is, but also they are trying to make it be known like, hey, this is it. You wanted your reset. This is your reset. No more bringing people back. No more, because the entire reality by the end of this will end up changed. That's the matter of fact that they've been straight up about it. And the Russos have even said, like, yeah, we kind of, after us has been a mess because there's been no commitment to keeping some of these people dead, and we need to fix that. So
Nick, what was your question? Because now I want to know.
Yeah.
Shaq, I know what Shaq's alluding to, and that is why I'll let Shaq say it, but that is why I will believe it when I see it, because this is not a recent MCU issue.
Yeah. So in the entirety of the MCU, not counting sacrifices, how many heroes have actually been killed and stayed dead?
One. I can think of one. Quicksilver.
That was a sacrifice. He saved.
Oh, you're right. That is a fucking sacrifice.
He saved Hawkeye, not a kid.
Oh, right. It was Hawkeye, but still, regardless, still a sacrifice.
But the reason he did it was for Hawkeye primarily. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. Nope. I was gonna say Vision.
Came back.
He came back, but he didn't come back. Now we have White Vision. Yeah. I don't know.
You see, I was like, oh wow.
There's no one.
It's none.
There's no one. No one has been killed in the MCU and remained dead.
But that's my point. Marvel has basically made it known, like, hey, we realize we fucked up with this because now you guys expect us to bring these people back somehow, and that shouldn't be the case.
But to be fair, that doesn't mean that they're going to kill anyone big off.
I didn't say they're killing anyone big off. I just said killing people off. They could kill members of this new Avengers team, like Ghost, like John Walker, like these smaller characters. We have the entire Thunderbolts, new Avengers, whatever the fuck you want to call them, team, confirmed to be a part of Doomsday. They could die off, and you just got to accept it. The only one I think is safe is Florence Pugh, because she's fucking Florence Pugh.
And that is why I say I'll believe it when I see it. Because if all they do is kill off relative side characters, it's nothing more than more of the same.
I never said anything about what the status of the character. I'm just talking about characters in general. That's what I left it at. You're adding that piece, and I agree with you. It is more of the same.
That's what the MCU needs to do. They need to kill a notable character. They need to kill them.
They have one or two notable characters they can actually kill left.
Yeah, one that they actually developed. It's like, yo,
they have two notable characters left. Two characters that people actually give a fuck about.
But like, imagine if like Doomsday opens with Shang-Chi getting murdered. You'd be like, all right, I quit on one time.
Yeah.
The only two characters you have to kill off are Hulk and Thor.
Doctor Strange.
Doctor Strange, that can go either way, because I know so many people who are wishy-washy about it.
I would disagree, but that's based off opinion.
I'm talking about emotional connection to characters we've had long-standing.
I will tell you that
I would say Doctor Strange would be a third.
Hold on. Go ahead.
I would definitely feel a way if Scott Lang goes. Scott Lang goes. I'll give you.
Yeah, I can see that.
Again, he's long-standing, and everybody loves Paul Rudd. So that's
I know nobody else likes. Nobody else likes him, but I'm a Hawkeye stan. You kill Hawkeye, I'm also gonna fucking die inside.
I think it's a notable character. Like I'm not a big fan of him.
I don't consider him notable. I love Hawkeye, but I don't consider him notable. He is always
he's one of the originals, so I see why people would still have a feeling about it.
Yeah, but outside of his TV show and Endgame, when have people really given a fuck about him. Not named Amarú Moses.
Always.
Not named Amarú Moses.
Show some respect to that man's name.
I have been a fan of him. I'm saying the general population, the general fan. When have people cared outside of those two?
I'm just saying, I'm not a big fan of him. I think it would be notable if you killed Star-Lord. I think that would be someone people would care about dying.
I'll give you because he has the three Guardians films, and it frees up Chris Pratt to do the DCU shit if the DCU doesn't fail.
They've announced movies, and then just because they were announced, they retitle them and don't go through with them. You could kill Spider-Man. Like, you're not going to, but you could, and Spider-Man 4 could just not happen. Like, that's a notable, like, these are the people that you have to, one of these has to go, and it can't be a sacrifice. It can't be like Tony. It can't be like Cap. It can't be like Black Widow. Like, someone, if you're going to make a new villain, you're not going to strike lightning twice with Thanos, so you need to have them do something merciless to someone that people love. And that's how the MCU lives after Avengers.
Shit. I just thought of the perfect person that everybody loves, that isn't technically a notable character, but everybody would be pissed. And I know he's in the fucking film. Winston fucking Duke in fucking
Oh,
That is one. That is the one that is going to hurt everyone. Everyone is going. Ooh, okay. I will give you this. Though she's not the like height, it's why I like Namor. They did kill off Ramonda, like straight murked Angela Bassett. So I'll say that they did do that. So because people tend to forget that Wakanda Forever is actually a good fucking movie. But anyway, there. But I'm with you know what, Nick? I'm with you. For me, I don't really like get into like what Matt talks about, like what the Russos have been saying and what movies are coming in. Like that shit goes over my head. I just think about what's in front of me and like I'm not thinking past Doomsday. I'm not thinking about Doomsday. I'm not looking into that stuff. I'm looking about as a movie, the general audience, because I'm more
we're a
into
year
the general
from
audience.
Doomsday, so you better start thinking about Doomsday.
But I mean about what they're talking about like what the Russos are saying, and so I don't really care. I care about what the movie is giving me. Hold the fuck up, Matt. You're interrupting people all day.
Let him finish.
But anyway, I like Matt. I get what you do because you hear it, you listen to it, and you think about it. It makes sense. I'm thinking about as a point in terms of I just watched Thunderbolts. What can come in Doomsday, which is about a year from now? Not thinking about what the directors are saying or whatever. And Nick, I'm with you. Like, even though if they don't kill anybody off or they do kill somebody off and they smartly bring it back, I will also enjoy that because I was worried about Endgame, about how they would make that stick because we knew they weren't all dying and they figured it out. I would be okay with them figuring it out, bringing it back. But I do think the most impactful thing would be somebody needs to die. Please don't be M'Baku. Shit. But I get that. I do think somebody just needs to be like, my contract is done. I'm not coming back. I'm not coming back in the future, whatever. Like that would be the most impactful way for Doom to like really, really feel like a higher level threat than Thanos.
And that's the thing, Ruth. It's not that someone needs to die. Someone needs to be murdered. Someone needs to be killed when Thanos choked out Loki. If that lasted, that was like one of those moments where you're like, yo, this guy is different. They need to have a moment like that, but have it last. Deadpool's another one. You could kill Deadpool if you wanted to. That's a character people care about.
Yeah, and the thing is, again, you'll know he'll come back because he's Deadpool, but like you give him a long fucking break, which they won't because there's no way you're having an X-Men and you don't utilize Deadpool.
Especially with the rumors floating right now that Reynolds is working on a Deadpool X-Men spinoff script.
Yeah, which was funny enough. I did hear somebody say, "Well, every Deadpool movie is an X-Men spinoff."
Well, no, it's a team up. That's what
it's a team up. Every movie is an X-Men team up. But anyway, yeah. But I feel you.
But that's kind of the thing. Like, you could kill Deadpool. Like, I'm not saying that this is going to happen, but you could kill Deadpool, and then all of a sudden you have an out for him in the MCU. You can make this Deadpool X-Men team up. You could do it with the old X-Men if you're so determined to get them back. And it works as like what the Batman was to the DCEU. Like, it's its own side story. And I think Marvel would be served really well if it does get into some of these outside of the MCU stories, which if you're going to release less content now, I think there being this overarching storyline and then having your little side projects like Star Wars has done, I think would be a really good step for it, because then you can tell stories where you're not beholden to this 25, 30, 45 film arc that you're doing.
Yeah. I'm with it. I'm definitely with it. I just talked all that shit about not talking about what people said, and now I'm about to bring up like people thinking Feige feels overwhelmed. So I see where you're coming from.
I mean, yeah,
Matt.
like, dude, that article from the Wall Street Journal came out like yesterday about like how Feige's like, listen, we're cutting this a lot of this shit down.
They said they need to simplify it,
and
they need to make it feel less like homework.
Exactly,
yes.
and like to that extent, I also wish we did know about the Going to Rue's point, I wish we didn't know about these things like years in advance. Because imagine if we didn't know that they were working on a Fantastic Four movie, and then we saw that 4, we would have lost our shit even more so.
But Shaq, at the end of the day, you have to consider, even if they didn't do that, us, because of the sphere we all work within, we would still know.
True.
But here's the thing, Matt, because this is why I want to talk about this post-credit. That did not land for a lot of the people in our screening.
Oh, it's the exact opposite in mine. They're cheering like a motherfucker in my screening.
Because we all know Fantastic Four is coming. And what they basically did, like, take out the doomsday of it all. What they basically did is a redo of the way they introduced Captain Marvel. Where they did Fury with the beeper, she's coming to modern times, and then you have the story of Captain Marvel back in the before times. Here's my example. And this is where I talk about like how you would have affected people. And this is where I said exactly what Shaq just said. If that was like the X-Men helicarrier or something like that, like something where it was someone we didn't know was coming, you would lose your shit.
But we know everyone's coming. That's part of your issue here.
But the best way I can describe it in terms of feeling is that Fantastic Four ship came up. I felt nothing. It is the best way I can explain that being done right was in Mandalorian Season 2, when they're in the ship, you see the X-Wing on the thing, and you have that childlike, holy fuck, is that Luke Skywalker? And they haven't given me anything in this movie for me to go, holy fuck, it's a Fantastic Four, because I know they're coming. Just because they're coming in a different timeline, you know that these stories are all going to blend together after all.
But again,
so that scene was fine, but like Shaq said, if no actors are in it, you didn't have to be casted. If that Fantastic Four ship happens at the end of something before they officially announce first steps, then you got that kind of Thanos post-credit emotion that you were getting before.
Yeah,
but
even
me,
if there
it
was
was kind of
rumors,
flat.
I wouldn't buy the rumors. I don't look into rumors.
You also have to keep in mind this post-credit scene was literally filmed 3 weeks ago. And by the Russos.
Oh yeah, I saw that and I was like, why would you say that?
Again, how my brain works. I take in every factor I know about something, and that's how I compute my initial outcome to it. The fact that I know this post-credit scene was shot within the last month, it gives us a look of what to expect in Doomsday. And I was more upset that okay, so we're just seeing the ending of the Fantastic.
We saw the end of the movie.
It'd be better if if there was a knock on the door or something, and how long have they been here? This, that, and the other. I have more issues that we saw the shit coming through. Okay, so you're literally showing us the ending of Fantastic Four or the post-credit scene of Fantastic Four. There's no in between there because it is the last movie pre-Doomsday. It is the final film pre-Doomsday. So I think it's the final MCU project pre-Doomsday. Now I'm thinking about it.
It might be. I didn't have any issues with them. I was happy because I knew who it was. But Nick, you're right. I didn't have that feeling, and I go into it like this. They're at a place now where they can't not announce things. And I'm really interested in how Feige wants to reshape after Doomsday and see how to go back to being able to keep more secrets and balance you got to know what's coming up, but we're going to keep some things close to the vest. That's what I'm interested in because I'm always the optimist. I feel like it was a good post-credit scene. It made sense. I like how it does. It gets me excited for the movie because I think shit's about to go down. And I am just in general, I this movie, where it's leading, where hopefully it's going, as much as I still love the MCU, I'm hoping that the trajectory keeps going where they find a balance. They find more of a balance where you're not going to capture what you had in phase 1, 2, and 3, but you're going to go back to, you are going to be solid, more than solid, make people like really happy moving forward.
Real quick though, Bucky's hair though
was luscious. It was like Harry Potter's.
I was like, did that motherfucker get a perm?
Something.
Like what? But no, I think we nailed everything about this. Thank you all for joining me today to talk about the new Avengers. I'm not calling it the Thunderbolts ever again. It's the new Avengers. Real quick, Shaq, go ahead and plug yourself, good sir.
Yeah, you can find me on all social medias at Shak Excellence. It's SHAK Excellence. That's Twitter, Instagram, Blue Sky, Letterboxd, TikTok, all that. You can find my writing over at cgmagonline.com.
And you can find those beautiful men right there over on Bitesize Breakdown. By me here on A Bigger Bite and my personal YouTube, Watt Real Entertainment. Go check out the trivia match that we did over there. And then next time, the plan is to have Nick on that same trivia match. So we'll see. But until then, folks, signing off, I'm Matt, that's Shaq, that's Nick, and that is Rue. And this was A Bigger Bite. We'll see you next time.